Athena, you walked a long way for somebody on your last legs. Come on, sweetheart, let's go back in. Did Mace leave you out here? My gosh, what is his problem? He walked too slow for him. You're so slow, darling. Come on, honey, let's go.
Hi, folks. It's Saturday and it's breezy. We've had the most windy winter, but it's a lot warmer today. We're starting to get some real spring temps. Not consistently, but you know how it is season to season, especially up here in the mountains. So I'm going to talk to you about something. A friend of mine sent me a link to this video that I saw on YouTube, and it was a guy explaining why you should have heritage chickens as opposed to hatchery chickens. But the thing is, it was very I don't know if it was said versus hatchery, but it was like why you should raise heritage breed chickens. And he said he was very entertaining, and he had a lot of things right. The only thing is, some of the things he said were partially true, but not completely true. And I agree with him. You should be raising heritage chickens, not the ornamental chickens like the Polish and the Silkies, and there's a million Spitzhauben, and there's all kinds of million. There's a million ornamental chickens, and they're fun. I'm not saying they're not fun, but there are a lot of heritage breeds. And he was making some statements that were kind of blanket statements, and I could talk against most of those in some instances. So a heritage chicken is one that basically was has been around since like the mid 20th century, and in 18 something the American Poultry Association created a standard of perfection for these breeds, and they put it out. And so these heritage breeds go way back to then, and they have to be a heritage chicken. It has to have 2 heritage chicken parents. And he was saying some things about heritage chickens. Now, the original American chicken was the Dominique. Some people call them Dominickers. That's an improper name. It's Dominique. They were a barred chicken, although they weren't straight bars. They were like cuckoo barred, meaning kind of like this, up the barred and across the feathers, a little bit wavy, or it's cuckoo. And they have a rose comb, which is not a big single comb that sits up like this. It's a little rose comb that kind of sits like this. That's just a very simple explanation. But they're rose-combed birds. So they didn't have big combs that stuck out. But Dominique was the original American chicken, and the Barred Plymouth Rock came from that. It's a true American breed, as is the Rhode Island Red. And he said heritage chickens tend to lay better. Yeah. He said they breed true. Yes. You get a Barred Plymouth Rock, and you breed a Barred Plymouth Rock, and you get a Barred Plymouth Rock. You breed a Golden Comet to another Golden Comet or a Black Sex Link, and you get a mutt. You don't get a chicken that looks like those. You get something with several breeds in it. You get it with, for lack of a better term, a mutt. And there's nothing wrong with it's. They talk about hybrid vigor. Well, it's not really hybrid. When you breed 2 hybrids, you don't get another hybrid. You get a mutt. Hybrid is the result of one breed bred with another breed to create a third type of chicken, a hybrid. So you can breed 2 heritage chickens. You can breed a heritage Rhode Island Red Rooster with a heritage Barred Plymouth Rock, and you get our sex link. You get a Black Sex Link. You don't get another heritage chicken, really. Only not a purebred one. So he made a lot of statements like they live longer. I'll explain why that's not really exactly true. How they're more disease resistant. Well, the reason I'm saying this is just because it's a heritage breed does not make it a breeder quality whatever breed it is. Hatcheries breed heritage breeds. Hatchery Barred Plymouth Rocks, Hatchery Rhode Island Reds, Hatchery Silver Lace Wyandottes. They are heritage breeds, but they're not always bred strictly to the standard of perfection, and they don't live longer. They do fall prey to disease. And it doesn't have to be contagious disease. There are some reproductive diseases, and I call them malfunctions. Most people call them diseases. That I have had plenty of heritage breed chickens die from. The hatchery heritage breeds, including my Barred Plymouth Rocks, including my Rhode Island Reds. They died of egg yolk peritonitis, internal laying. I didn't have any egg binding in those, but and that's a whole different thing. But they are not necessarily health concern free. Let's put it that way. Longevity. Well, if they get reproductive malfunctions, they're going to die at 2 and 3, 4 years old. That's not really longevity, in my opinion. Not considering what I have seen as longevity here. Most hens live to at least 10 years old. Many of them lived 11, 12. I think our little rooster that lived to 11, 12, 13, and 14, up to 14 and a half was my oldest so far. She was not a heritage breed. She was created by someone trying to make a new official color of the Americana. So, I got distracted by a strange sports car in here. Nobody drive sports cars in here. Black sports car. Look like it does not belong here at all. So, a heritage breed doesn't mean that it lives longer, lays better, comes to a great size. A lot of heritage breed chickens from hatcheries are skinny. They're not the proper color. They don't have the proper leg color, the proper eye color. They don't have the proper width of the hip bones. They don't have anything that's good for laying. And then you can't show them either. I love it when people say, I got these birds from a hatchery. Can I show them? Maybe at 4-H, the American Poultry Association shows, sanctioned by them. They're not good enough for that. So you're not going to get the best example of what their breed is supposed to be from most hatcheries. Now, some hatcheries have begun to sell what they call exhibition barred rocks, true blue black splash Americanas. And that's true. They have, after decades of complaining by breeders who said, this is not what you say it is. This is not what you say it is. This is not worthy of anything. So they have done that, but that's only in recent years. If you want a true heritage breed chicken, you can consult the Livestock Conservancy. You can consult a breeder that my blue Orpingtons came out of. It's Sandhill Preservation Center. The eggs were sent to me by a breeder who got hers from Sandhill Preservation. I had heard about Sandhill Preservation in is it Preservation Society or Center? I can't remember, but Sandhill Preservation. Sandhill's one word. I looked it up yesterday, and because I thought, I haven't heard about that in a long time. Nobody mentions them. And I looked it up. They are shipping chicks here. They're shipping chicks. If you want to get them shipped, they're shipping them. They're very reasonably priced. For what they do. They try to adhere to the standard of perfection for their breeders. Now, even a breeder who has birds that he breeds to the standard of perfection, he will not always have the best birds. He has to choose his best breeders from those birds. They're not all spectacular. Some of them have, a couple traits that may be a little off, that kind of thing, because it's genetics. You just can't always figure out what you're going to get from two very beautiful examples of their own breed. You can't tell what you're going to end up with, because there are other genes that are floating around in the ancestry sometimes that pop up out of nowhere, like my Tiny the Terrorist, who obviously had Sumatra in her background. And nope, she came out of a blue-black splash Americana flock. And when I realized that she was not shaping up like an Americana. I thought, oh, what in the heck? This doesn't even look like an Americana. This looks like a Sumatra. And she had the spurs to prove it. But anyway, so heritage breed doesn't mean breeder quality. That's a whole different thing. And the longevity is better with the breeder quality birds generally, I've found. So on very rare occasion. And my battery's going dead, of course. So I just wanted to make a mention of that, okay?